Hello, this is Wimplo, and today we're going to be starting a new series, really our first series, on Zero to Hero. Basically, we're going to take a character and we're going to play them using only a small amount of tools, just our basics. And we're going to try to take them from very bottom rank, and then each level that we go up, so let's say from iron to bronze or from bronze to silver, we're going to introduce new tools. So we open up the game, we've got our fighting ground, we've got our battle hub. World Tour, that's a great place to learn to play the game, especially in modern. And we're going to be playing modern controls here as well. So we've got a couple choices here. Classic, we've got modern. And I suggest, learn the game with modern controls. It's totally fine. You can still do the classic inputs. But modern is a perfect place to learn how to play the game. Now, I've played with modern controls before, so I need to actually change my key bindings for myself personally. So I'm actually going to change these. This is our settings for myself. And you can play around and find what settings work for you, So let's take a look. Now we're just going to go through the tutorial and try to explain a couple of these things. So we have walking here. Okay. Now this is the primary method of how we're going to be manipulating space, right? Ultimately, all these types of games, fighting games or even just fighting, really you're just jockeying for position. You're jockeying for space. Space is a resource. Space is your defense. Space, and taking space away is your offense, right? So being able to control the range is very, very important. Now dashing. Dashing isn't as prevalent in Street Fighter 6 as it was in, say, Street Fighter 5 or even 4. And the reason why is because we have Drive Rush. But dashing it can be a pretty good way to just, we're here. I did not mean to jump. We're playing on a different controller too. So I'm actually playing, instead of on my fight stick, I'm playing on a pad. That way we get as much, most people, they don't have a, fight stick to start playing. You're going to start playing with, an Xbox controller. Going back to dashing. So dashing can be a good way to close the range, and backdashing especially is very strong in this game. It's not as strong as, say, Street Fighter 4 where they're fully invincible, or some anime games where that's true as well. So if this is my character's effective range, let's say like here or so, and your opponent knows that, and they're spacing right outside this crouching medium kick, or 2MK. So this is my effective range. So what am I really threatening here? I'm threatening going forwards. I'm not really threatening pressing a button at this range, although I suppose perhaps a heavy button could hit, or a fireball. But I am threatening to close space. So that's an important thing to understand about dashing, is that you need to be in position that you're aware of where your opponent's options are, right? So if their buttons are here, you know that they can't hit you from here, but you know that they are threatening to get into range to hit you. That's a very important point. This is something that I teach a lot in my job in martial arts. They might not be threatening to hit you, but they are threatening to take the range and then hit you. So that's an important thing to look out for. On to the previous note, jumping. So jumping is the beginner's bane. Okay, both stopping people from jumping at you, as well as, I don't want to do this game, I just want to get in there, yeah! And then we're just gonna press a button, right? And it's very tempting, but I'm going to try to play a more grounded game. Street Fighter jumping is very committal. It's not like an anime game, like a Guilty Gear, where we have many different air options. We've got super jumps, we've got double jumps, we've got air dashing, where you have many different options to make jump ins a little bit stronger. in this game, we have a couple ways to deal with jump-ins, and we'll go over those later. But jumping in is strong at the beginner level, but quickly falls off until it becomes strong again. So, light attacks. These are weak but quick attacks. Now, your lights are going to be extremely important. Many attacks in the game are safe on block. Now, what that means, the quickest attacks in this game are 4 frames. 4 frames means that from when I press this button until the button comes out, that means it's going to take 4 total frames of duration for that hitbox to come out. So let's say this crouching light punch, for example. This is Luke's 4-frame button. I press the button here, and then 4 frames later, it connects with the opponent. There's that initial 3 frames of startup, and on the 4th frame, we get that connection. Some moves, when we block them, I'll be in massive amounts of end lag. And so if there's a move that has 4 or more frames of negative frame advantage, that means that we can punish it just by default every time with crouching light punch. Now, sometimes you might be at frame disadvantage, but you're spaced out. Maybe the crouching light punch might not reach. So some moves are minus, but still safe. But lights are great for interrupting, they're great for frame trapping. And so his standing light moves forwards here a little bit. And every character is a little bit different. So this is our standing medium attack. So we're going to press this button, and that's it. Now, mediums tend to have a little bit more range. They're most of them are cancelable. A lot of standing medium kicks aren't, but some characters like Kim or Jamie have very strong standing medium kicks that are cancelable. Cancelable meaning that we can confirm the fact that it hit and then cancel the end lag into a special move, for example. Or in this case, Drive Rush is pretty prominent. Okay, heavy attacks are big buttons. Big buttons. Typically, they take a little bit longer than our mediums to come out. They hit a little bit harder. And they give us the most amount of damage on hit. But they're also the riskiest to throw out. A lot of times, if I press a heavy button and somebody jumps at me, I'm not going to have enough time to block or anti-air them. So they're a little bit of a larger commitment, right? It's like doing a spin in a fight, for example. Yeah, you get a large hit if you hit them, but you're also exposing your back and leaving yourself open to being hit. So we're gonna press this hopping knee. Now, standing and crouching are 2 very different positions. Moves in Street Fighter typically have one of 3 properties. They're going to be a mid, they're going to be a high, or they're going to be a low. Standing block protects against mid attacks and protects against high attacks. But your feet are completely open. So crouching light punch is actually not a low, even though it looks like it hits low. But this button is. I'm holding assist here, and I'm getting crouching light kick. That one does hit. Jumping attacks will beat people that are crouching. So you can't crouch block against a jumping attack, or in an overhead as well. So this will beat crouchers as well. So we're going to take a look at our jump attacks. Jump attacks are very strong at the low level because no one knows how to anti-air or has the muscle memory. They know how to. They're just not as practiced. Okay, so we're going to take a look at blocking, and it's probably going to go over a lot of the same stuff that we talked about, the rundown on defense. 2 kinds of blocks, standing block and crouching block, and we've gone over those a little bit. So we're going to use the standing block here. And he did an overhead there. If we had crouch blocked that, then it would have hit us. So now it wants us to go to the crouch block. I'm gonna hold just straight back and demonstrate that the crouching medium kick that's probably coming out here. Or, okay, sweep makes more sense because it's Ryu. It hit us, right? But if we crouch block, we're able to not only block it, but his Ryu's sweep there is actually very punishable. So we get rewarded for good defense. Defense is only as good as it allows you to convert into offensive opportunities. So, you know, you can block all you want, but unless you convert those opportunities into damage, then all you're really doing is getting beaten up. Like it said, crouching blocks can't defend against overhead or jump ins. But crouching medium kick, especially in this game, is very prevalent. So crouch block can be pretty strong. Now, if they're able to block everything, then we can use a throw to defeat them. So that's going to be a light and a medium button together in classic, sorry. That will be light punch and light kick. So we can go here, we can just get nice and throw. Throws don't do a lot of damage unless it's a punish counter throw. But, you know, you have to rotate your options. It's very important. If someone realizes that you're not throwing at all, they're just going to block everything you do. But we can throw at the same time as they do, or there's a little bit of leeway there. You can throw a little bit before and a little bit after they throw as well, and it's going to result in a throw tech, which leaves us in a neutral frame situation. So it's roughly equivalent. Okay, special moves. Now, every character, this is where they really, really differentiate themselves in their system mechanics. Luke is what's called a Shoto. That means he's able to throw fireballs. He's able to uppercut. And then typically he's going to have like a forwards moving special as well. I guess for him, yeah, it's this one. Okay. So it wants us to throw a fireball here. We're going to go ahead and do so. And very simple, modern controls, it's just one button. There's no need to do a complicated motion like a quarter circle. It's totally fine. And you can still do it. Here, I'm gonna press down fours, and then I'm gonna press a button. And you can still do the fireball with no reduced damage, even in modern controls. So now it wants us to do the rising uppercut. So with Luke, it's just forwards and our special button. So if you notice someone is jumping at us, we can just hit them out of the air. Now, it's not a lot of damage, but it is consistent damage. And it's more important that we're just stopping their approach more so than killing them for jumping at us. Certain characters and certain anti-airs, you can actually just delete people for jumping at you. It just depends on the situation. Every character is different. Now, our super. You get meter down here at the bottom. This is your super meter. It allows you to do one of 3, or for some characters, they get a couple more, super attacks. Now, really, fighting games, they're resource management games. Now, that resource could be defined as your super, could be defined as your health, which is the most important meter of them all. In this game, your drive meter, and then space is also a resource as well. And so too is screen position. Now, we gain meter for executing good defense or good offense. You get rewarded in kind. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to do level 1 super art. For us, that's just one button. That's our super button. Now you can spend level 1, you can spend level 2, or you can spend level 3, and it costs that much meter as well. Level 1 costs 1, level 2 costs 2, level 3 costs 3. So level 2 is the backwards and our super button. So we're just going to go ahead and do that. Luke has a pretty good level 2 also. Ooh, the big one. Level 3. We get a sick double leg takedown here. Ooh. Drive Rush St. Pierre. And then important to note that your level 3 will do more damage when you get below, I believe, 30% health. Your health gauge turns yellow. And it turns from a super move into a critical art. So now it's talking about drive gauge. Now, this is the critical resource in Street Fighter 6. The drive gauge, you can view it as almost like a stamina bar, is the way that I like to think about the game. So a lot of times what ends up happening, we use this drive gauge to do, like the game says here, perform unique actions. So, okay, let's go over the 2 basic uses of the drive gauge. Okay, one is the drive impact. Now, it says the 2 basic actions. I would suppose this could be classified as one. Now, what is a drive impact? Drive impact is an armored move. That means it can absorb hits. So if they're attacking us, this is actually going to beat out 2 moves. So if they press like 2 light buttons, for example, we can absorb those and then hit them with this motion. And depending on what the opponent does, this can have a couple different properties. So it can either crumple them and we can follow up. It can have them go flying, or if they hit their back against the wall, because you get pushed back when you block this move, then you get wall splat. And so that allows the offensive drive impactor to be able to get a small conversion there as well. And it's very, very strong option if you're not aware of how to deal with it. Now, for example, here's what we talked about. They did a low forward into a fireball, and we absorbed it. When you're in trouble, use drive impact to break through an attack. I suppose. So right now Ryu is blocking here, and we can actually just get a conversion there after that as well. When you have someone on the defense in the corner, drive impact is a good option. If they're not ready for it, there are many ways to deal with the drive impact. It is able to be thrown, so you can throw somebody's drive impact. You can use a super move to get through the drive impact. Certain characters can have multi-hitting moves that will break drive impact as well. But by far the most common option against drive impact is a counter drive impact. So whoever, it's like a game of chicken, whoever does the drive impact second will win that interaction. Most of the time, there are a few edge cases. Now drive parry, this is a very, very important tool, and having good drive parry can just allow you to straight up win certain matchups if you have good timing. So the nice thing about drive parry is that normally when you block moves in this game, it will actually chip away at your drive meter. Now, drive parry does cost some meter, but if you block a move, that meter will be restored for you. And if you continue to hold the button, they continue to attack, you're just going to continue to gain meter there. Very, very strong, very important. It also, like this says, allows you to protect against both highs and lows. It doesn't care. It also doesn't care about forward and backwards to block. So let's say someone does a jump in, that's a cross up. So a cross up, for example, if I'm going here, I jump forwards, he'll actually have to switch his block here a lot of the time. Like there, he would actually have to, instead of holding to the right, he would actually have to hold left to block this most of the time. Now, drive parries, like Ryu's doing here, okay, I can try to hit him with a high, I can try to hit him with a low, right? Doesn't matter, but they are able to be thrown. And they take a lot of damage here, and they take a lot of drive damage. You can also perfect parry against drive impacts as well. This is a pretty common way to deal with them, especially if you're in the corner and you're not quite ready and you're looking for something else to drive parry. If they DI against us, this is very common at low levels and high levels as well. in mid-levels. We can just go ahead and drive impact back. Is this what it's asking us to do? I did not read this so well. Try using... Oh, with the... Okay, I guess the drive parry. My bad. So if you time it correctly, you can actually get a perfect parry there. And now this is counter DI, so let's take a look at what happens. Try to hit us, and there's a huge slowdown because my computer is freaking out over OBS. Unfortunate. So you can use these system mechanics, but it will end you into what's called burnout. And so you can see that Ryu here, he looks tired. There's like sparks going over his head. He's all grayscaled. So you can't use any drive moves at that time. That includes drive rush, which we'll explain, drive impact, drive parry, and then EX or OD moves, as they call them in this game, which are souped up versions of your specials. It's also bad because everything on block against you does chip damage against your health. So that means fireballs will do chip damage against you. And you can actually just die to special moves, even if you're blocking them. Same too goes with super moves, which is a very common checkmate situation. It's harder to react against drive impact. And also moves that are against you on block, they get 4 additional frames of advantage, which is unideal. Now, if he is burned out here, he can actually get stunned by a successful drive impact into the corner. So, in fighting games, really, the object is very simple. You just have to get rid of their health before they get rid of yours. I mean, that's really how we do it. Oh my god, that is the strongest crouch medium punch I've ever seen in my life.
Time over.
And in the result of the timeout, if you have more health than the other person, you also end up winning. Very common from people who play in other sports. Right? It's just most sports will end, whoever has the most amount of points at the end wins. A lot of people don't like to go to time in fighting games because they don't like waiting around for 99 seconds. And that's totally understandable. If you're more, let's say, a patient player, maybe you won't mind going 99 seconds. But sometimes you might have to. Okay. Ooh, now we're moving. Okay. Now we're just going to use just standard buttons here. That's it. We're not going to do any cancels. It taught us how to do a fireball. We're going to throw a fireball. Now, when it comes time to when we're actually doing our... I'm just mashing medium punch here. I'm going to throw him 2. We're not doing anything real special here. Right. I'm going to try to press the heavy button. Let's see how that goes. Nice. Okay. Let's press light. Yeah, this is all the game has taught us at this point. So we're just going to go here. We're just going to poke. This guy is... Classic dance moves. Okay, we can skip that. This is a very important point. You can always skip these things by pressing the start button. And most people end up doing that. It's cool for the first couple of times, and then it gets a little annoying. Oh. Okay, if we're aiming for the top, we can find more tutorials, and that's it.